What's going on, gang? So we back in the building today, Surgeon Sports checking in. Man, you know what time it is. We back in the local Legends film room. Let's get it. It's time to cut the tape on, dog. The eye in the sky. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Today's subject is going to be Kyle Pitts, tight end for the Atlanta Falcons, man. Dynamic young tight end. Highest overall selection ever in NFL history since the merger, as they like to say. Very good athlete, man. I remember I saw this kid at Florida. I couldn't believe it. I don't think he had a snap his last 2 years at Florida where he wasn't double covered and still did numbers. So definitely an amazing athlete. Should be that next in line, behind Travis Kelce and these kind of guys. So we're gonna kind of talk about why he isn't necessarily in that conversation just yet and kind of get into some of the things that the team has had to do with that, some of the things that the quarterbacks have had to do with that also, and then just kind of talk about what he can do to improve his situation moving forward and get that big contract that everyone likes to talk about in the NFL, right? You need that big second contract to take care of your family and things of that nature moving forward, right? So that's something that I know is on his mind heavy. So let's talk about how we can help him get there, man. Let's get into it. When we talk about Kyle Pitts, right, let's talk about some of the pros and cons before we get into the tape, right? So some of my favorite things about Kyle Pitts are some of the stuff that you can't teach, right? His size, his speed when he's healthy, and he's got great hands, obviously got big hands, but just great overall catching ability, right? He can track the ball. It doesn't matter who's around him. Like I told y'all, I don't think he had a snap at Florida where he wasn't double covered, but he always managed to track the ball down. So those are some of my favorite things. Obviously, the catch radius, right? That's another God-given thing just because, he's such a big guy, long arms. And then his route running ability is pretty decent too as well, right? Like he can get open. Again, like I said, I kind of think that has a lot to do with his speed, right? And so something I wanted to get into as far as some of the negatives in Kyle Pitts are, if he is healthy moving forward, right? Sometimes I know those bigger tight ends, they tend to get beat up early on because you got to do anything you can to tackle them. Kind of like Gronkowski early on, right? Like he was beat up his entire career just because he was such a hard guy to take down, right? Like, Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, you can put those guys in that category too, right? So moving forward, I want to know, is he healthy? He doesn't, when I look at him on film, the last 2 years, he doesn't move as quickly. He's not as quick out of his routes. Even run after the catch isn't as quick as his rookie season. So I'm wondering if he's fully healthy, can he get back to, full health in this season, right? And, if he is healthy, then I feel like he's kind of sluggish when he's not getting the ball, right? When he's not getting catches, he kind of he might half-ass a route here and there. He might half-ass a block here and there just because he's not getting the ball. And I know that, that's his skill set. That's what he does. So he's one of those guys that feels like, if you're not using me to do what I do best, then I'm just going to say, fuck it. I'm not finna play today type shit. So I kind of hope I'm wrong about that, but that's what I see on tape is, he's kind of sluggish out of those routes when he's not getting the ball. Also, blocking wise, he tends to be listen, I saw a few plays where he got literally thrown around. Okay, so kind of weak at that point of attack when it comes to the run game. So he's gonna have to improve there. And truthfully, when you look at the last 2 seasons under Arthur Smith, I really feel like it's a lot of the reason why Jonnu Smith got way more snaps than him and just way more looks, honestly, because Jonnu Smith is probably a better blocker, which leads to him getting more catches, right? And so I think Jonnu Smith is also a guy that's going to run his route at full speed no matter what the play is. So some of those times, as a quarterback, I know that some of those times, if you don't run the route full speed, you're not going to be open just based on the coverage, right? So if you do run the route full speed, now there's a chance that it might match up with the coverage. I might see you, right? If you just loafing out there, there's some guys that aren't going to throw you the ball straight up. And some guys can tell if you're loafing. Now, a guy like Kyle Pitts, I can tell, right? I should be able to look out there and tell, okay, that's not Kyle Pitts' full speed. You know, if you don't want to throw him the ball, then he might not, right? Like, you know how some of these guys are in the NFL, man. So I just really feel like his effort has to be high at all times, man. He can't, I hate, a lot of people talk about that, and that's the difference between professional sports is like, bro, you're getting paid too much money to take plays off like that, There's no way that I should see you out here loafing a route just because you had to block maybe 2 or 3 downs prior, right? Or maybe you haven't gotten to pass all day, right? So now you're going to loaf? No, you're getting too much money for that, And honestly, like I said, your future depends on it at this point, right? Like, you don't want to just take what you made. I haven't seen Kyle Pitts in no commercials, in no, none of that extra stuff, right? All in all, I think Kyle Pitts definitely needs to step up his effort, as well as, I think there's some outside factors, right, that play a part too. But like I say, I think the things that he can control is definitely his effort on plays, definitely his blocking. And like I said, from my experience, I know that blocking can be 60, 70% effort, right? So if you just want to block that guy, 9 times out of 10, you'll be better at blocking that guy. So he's got to put more effort into that to improve his game. And like I said, it's coming up on that time, right, for that second contract. So this year is important. So let's get into the film, man. I want to show you guys some of the things that he did well with another veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan, in his rookie season. And we'll look at some of the things that kind of built some bad habits the last 2 years with Mariota, with Heineke, and with Desmond Ridder as well, man. So let's get into the film. Surgeon Sports Network.